What's up, good people? Today I am here to expose the ableist biases that neurotypical people and non disabled people have, which contribute to the ableist and inaccessible society that people with disabilities have to navigate on a daily basis. So, the first thing I want to do is I want to play a video about what started me on this journey, and then we can get right into it. So, I've been thinking about what do I, a black woman who's neurodivergent, who's between 5'5" and 5'7" tall. That's between like 130 to 150 pounds, have in common with a 300-pound football player and a rugged Army vet, Marine, or Navy SEALs. And one thing that comes to mind is the correlation between TBI, CTE, and PTSD. And yes, and by being an 18-year traumatic brain injury survivor, a lot of my functions has been impacted due to the severe trauma and damage that my brain endured from a life-threatening car accident. So yeah, so I can start out by saying I spoke in previous videos about how I kind of disconnected myself from the disability community after I was in a life-threatening accident um, in November 18, 2004. And then after waking up from a 2-month coma, and after being what they call that when they ask when you be released from the hospital, I had to go to a rehabilitation center for kids with disabilities because like my like the house I stayed in with my mom wasn't accessible for me because during this time I was still using a wheelchair. So, and just thinking about this, like when I woke up from the coma, like it was like I was a newborn baby being reborn. Like I literally had to learn everything all over again from walking, talking, basic human functions. And I still to this day battle with talking because sometimes it be painful and it be a drag of me getting out my words. And my strongest skills is writing. I can communicate more stronger and effectively through writing because when I be in conversations with people, I be forgetting mid sentence. And one of my diagnoses that I don't like to expose to people that may feel people like offense like from work with me that I tried so hard to cover up, which led to me to becoming a shell of myself and becoming a people pleaser because I had fears like my impulsiveness and I didn't know what I would do and I had to have some type of control of myself. But the diagnosis that I rarely disclose is that I have explosive rage disorder. So, and that mixed with my TBI and ADHD can land me in a place where I don't want to be because I value my freedom. So, so yeah, so and because of all the times where I silence myself because like I knew like I wasn't like everyone else. Like after like four to 6 months from waking up from my coma, I was walking and talking on my own, and I no longer look like I was in a wheelchair. So I didn't look like people who had physical disabilities, but yet I wasn't like the like able-bodied person, because I had challenges that I still had to work through, that I didn't understand, that I'm still like better comprehending and navigating how to live a successful and comfortable life as being like a traumatic brain injury survivor. And because of that, when I distance, like the reason why I distance myself from the disability community, because I seen how able-bodied people and neurotypical people treated people with that had physical disabilities, and I didn't want to be treated like that. But yet I silenced myself, where I had a hard time advocating for myself or telling someone when I needed help, or when I did, I'd be like met with like dumbfounded looks like I'm insane or something. So like it's been very challenging. But what one thing I have been working since like the start of the pandemic up to now, really like working on improving my communication skills and my social skills. And just like, even though like people who really get to know me, that I feel comfortable with, don't have a hard time me believing this, but I am a very shy person and very introverted. It takes me a while to get very comfortable and to be my free self, because there has been times where I be free, be my free self without no regard. I don't care what people say, but I met with people laughing at me, dissing they self from me, which left me very confused. Like what's wrong with me? Why it's hard for me to connect with people? Which led me down another path with my codependency, my trauma bonding, but that's another story. But and I want to show like another video to like touch on like how I'm exposing like ableist biases. So like yeah. So this is a video that I made today, cuz like I went back and forth whether I was going to respond to these people. And it and yeah, and it's a part of me that is like extremely hurt by it. But the other side of the Taurus in me is like, don't ever let them see you sweat and keep it moving. But now I'm at a place where I'm willing to sit in my feelings and show people like how I'm feeling my down, when I'm scared, when I'm uncomfortable. So yeah, let's play this video and we can continue this conversation. So I usually don't go back and forth on like posts and comments, but this person is getting real chummy right now and gonna say as an insult, I sound like I had a stroke. First of all, learn how to spell stroke. And why should that be an insult? And why do you think asking someone if they have a stroke is an insult? Because you was the same person that told me that I talk slow and I sound like I'm mentally slow. So what good do you get out of this? Because let me tell you, I have accomplished and achieved more than you have ever have in your life. You don't know what I've been through? And this is why I'm I'm so glad that I'm taking out the time to document my story so I can tell wimps like you what it is to be a champion, a warrior. Because I would not allow any neurotypical person or non-disabled person try to clown me because something happened to me that I didn't have control over. So get your life in that order. So I usually don't go back. So yeah, so like one of the things that like my work have been, especially when like I was creating the beta app, is that like is my goal that like I want to create like a digital healing sanctuary to co-create a more inclusive and accessible society for all, to like help us all to become more mentally, emotionally, and spiritually more mature while engaging in conversations regarding mental health and different types of disabilities. And from some of the, cause like the most thing that I fear about like speaking, sharing my opinions on social media with others is the very things that's happening. But from all the work that I have been doing and like healing myself, raising my vibrations and understanding what triggers me and understanding my strength and weakness and how to I can best navigate this inaccessible society. So I'm better equipped to deal with these illiterate comments from people. And it's just like people are so freaking simple minded. Like it's crazy. Like I just don't completely understand how people think like an insult as like you sound like you had a stroke is an insult. Like like if someone have a stroke, that's something that happened to them that they didn't have a control over. And then how they interact afterwards, and people, neurotypical people and non-disabled people, want to clown them. It's a very problem with society, what people with disabilities is fighting for. And just to like sum it up, like the post that they make these comments under was like that a video that I had stitched of women, biological women, talking about like their how their struggles within like the trans, with like trans women coming in and defining what is a woman, and then the very essence of a biological natural woman being erased to be more inclusive to trans women and non-binary people. And it's very like it's very overwhelming. And 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 just because someone said something that I didn't like, they want to use my challenges that against me. And this is what I'm talking about, that a lot of times as people, we don't have the mental ability or capacity to be able to to agree to disagree, or to have tough conversations without tearing a person down. So like this is the very thing of why I created that beta app when I was as a part of the I Am event series, Disability, Art, Life, and Culture. Because all through these past 3 years with this pandemic, people are struggling mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. And then you have the people that cover up their insecurities and that need to feel an ounce of power by having power and control over others. So like this is what my very work is to combat and to go against. So like I this week has been very tumultuous for me, and I found out recently that this is the shadow period or the pre-retrograde. So a lot of like miscommunication, and I'm using this Mercury retrograde to help me to revisit parts of myself that I still run away from, and building that confidence with me where I can be me regardless what anybody have to say. Because like I am still working through some things that happened in my childhood, where I felt like my dreams wasn't nurtured properly, and I often heard people tell me that I couldn't sing or I couldn't do this and that. And all the times when I was first going after my dreams so visual, so like I was so pumped for my dream, but like I got scammed a lot, so I felt robbed of my dreams. So I'm still working up to get that confidence in myself to like go after my dreams and stop hiding behind working with other people's or other projects and not showing my full capability of who I am as a performer and as a creative being. So yeah, I just like ease some like frustration off, and I want to expose like the ableist bias that neurotypical people and non-disabled people have, and even within the disability community. With when you talking about different types of disability, there are biases, and we as a collective have a lot of work to do so we all can be more mentally, emotionally, and spiritually more mature while engaging in conversations with other, whether it's mental regarding mental health, disability, or it's regarding having tough conversations. Because right now it's just like do better, people. And that's all I have for you. And remember to be kind and gentle to yourself in that